Hey everyone, this is Angie Norris and welcome in. You're on my YouTube channel, 60 and a Senior. I turned 60 years old in April and I'm now a senior citizen. And so I changed the name of my YouTube channel because on my YouTube channel, I talk about bookish things. I do book reviews. I do videos about TBR lists. I do reading wrap-ups. And today we're going to be talking about what my most anticipated book releases are for August of 2025. So once again, this is from my more mature point of view, books that are in genres that I like to read, or authors that I like to read, or books that just sound interesting to me. So this might not be up your alley at all, but hang around and we're going to talk about 12 of them. So when I started doing my research about the books that were releasing in August of 2025, there are over 200 books that are being released. So we're narrowing it down to 12, and we're starting off first with one by Sarah Pekkanen, I believe is how her last name is pronounced. I might be slaughtering that. And it is a mystery thriller, and the name of the book is The Locked Ward. Hang on and let me turn the ring line off for just a second, and you can see what the cover is going to look like there. If I get a chance and my editing software is working correctly, I'll also try to plug an image of it there. But this book is due to be released on August the 5th. Now, I'm going to tell you, I've only read 2 books written by Sarah Pekkanen. The first one that I read was written solely by her, and it was a book of the month choice for last year, and it was entitled House of Glass. I read it, I want to say it was in March or April of this year, and I really did not enjoy it. I only gave it a 3-star rating. It was called House of Glass, and I did not think it was a very well-written book. I saw the ending coming, and when I read a mystery thriller, I'm one of those people that a lot of times will figure it out, and if it was, I just didn't feel like the characters were developed very well, and I saw the ending coming a mile away, so it just did not hold my interest, and so I only gave it a 3-star rating. So from that perspective, I probably would not have read another one of her books, but last month I did read for a book club a book entitled An Anonymous Girl that was co-authored by Sarah Pekkanen and Greer Hendricks, and I did enjoy that book much more. It was not a 5-star, but I did give it a 4-star read. I had someone tell me about this anticipated release, this book that had come out. They were able to read it as an early reader on NetGalley, and they loved it. So I'll probably give her one more try. She may not be an author that I'm quite ready to break up with, but if this one isn't better than House of Glass, this will probably be my last read for Sarah Pekkanen. But The Locked Ward, a little bit about it is the primary character is Georgia Cartwright, and Georgia was adopted as a newborn, and she is accused of killing her adopted sister, who was the biological born child of her parents, her family that adopted her. So Georgia is locked in a psychiatric hospital while she awaits trial. Her biological twin sister, Amanda, who she is estranged from, comes to visit her at the psychiatric hospital, and Georgia begs Amanda to get her out. Amanda doesn't really trust Georgia, and she has to figure out if Georgia is the victim or is Georgia manipulating her. Goodreads has an average rating for the people who've been early readers and who have already read the book of 3.83, which is pretty good. The book is due to be released August 5th. Okay, I'm going to backtrack just a little bit, and if you haven't watched any of my videos before, what my favorite genres are mystery thriller. I love a good mystery thriller, a psychological thriller. I like a true crime. I like some horror books. I also love historical fiction. I do throw a romance in every now and then. I like to read dystopian, but I'm really not a fan of science fiction. and fantasy. Those are not my two favorite genres. So a lot of what I'm talking about today is going to be in those genres that I like. So the first one was a mystery thriller. The second one is entitled She Didn't Stand a Chance by Stacey Gray. And this is what that book cover is going to look like. And let me tell you a little bit about this one. Okay, this one follows a primary character by the name of Gertie, and she hasn't seen her siblings since she was a toddler. Her father dies, and she goes back to the family home for the reading of the will. She stands to inherit a large portion of the family business and a Palm Springs home. Her siblings are surprised and angry. And she is trapped in this remote family home. She's isolated, and she finds out that her father may have been murdered. One of the house staff member is killed, and she has a near deadly accident. So this book covers a wild journey of jealousy, lies, and family secrets. Okay, sorry about that. I forgot to tell you that She Didn't Stand a Chance is being released on August the 12th. And right now, the average Goodreads rating is 4.01. That's pretty good. Okay, next up is another mystery thriller. And it is entitled Too Old for This. There's what the book cover is going to look like. Too Old for This by Samantha Downing. And let me tell you what it's going to be about. Okay, in this one, our primary character is a woman named Lottie Jones. She is a retired serial killer. That grabbed me from the get-go. And so it says, decades earlier, she changed her identity and tucked herself away in a small town. Her most exciting nights were playing weekly bingo games at the local church and gossiping with her friends. But an investigative journalist shows up on her doorstep asking questions about Lottie's past and specifically about her involvement with several unsolved murder cases. And well, Lottie just can't have that. But getting away with murder is hard enough when you're young. And now she realizes that this crime might be the death of her. So she's an older, retired serial killer. I love books about more mature adults because I'm a more mature adult. So this one interested me very much, and I love a good mystery thriller. Goodreads has the average rating at 4.36. That's pretty good. And it's due to release on August the 12th. Okay, next up is a book by Lisa Ridson, I believe is how you say the last name. It's entitled When the Cranes Fly South. Oops, hold on. Jumping ahead of myself there. And that's what the cover looks like. This book is set in Sweden, and it hit the bestseller list in Sweden. Let me read the description to you. Hold on. This description was pretty short, but then I also went back and read some of the actual reviews by some of the early readers to get a little bit more information about what the book was about. So it follows our primary main character, whose name is Bo, and he's an elderly senior citizen. It says, these days his quiet existence is broken up by daily visits from his home care team. He still has a beloved dog to keep him company, and now his son is trying to take his dog away from him, claiming that Bo has grown too old to properly care for him. And so the threat of losing his beloved dog stirs up a whirlwind of emotion, leading Bo to take stock of his life, his relationships, and the imperfect way that he's expressed his love over the years. So that was the Goodreads description. And then one of the reviews that I read said this was a bestseller in Sweden. It is a heartbreaking story of an elderly man named Bo, who is 89 years old, who has memory and mobility issues. He's living in northern rural Sweden, and he just wants to spend his days with his dog. Bo's wife is in a home as she has dementia, and his caregivers come during the day to help him, but his son insists that he is too old to take care of the dog and that the dog needs to be rehoused. And Bo wants a say in how he still lives his life. So this is an emotional story. I think the category is actually contemporary fiction, but it intrigued me because it is about a senior citizen. And here I am, a senior citizen, not quite 89 years old yet, but I am a senior citizen. And Goodreads gave it an average rating of 4.26, which sounded intriguing to me. And it's due to release on August 19th. Okay, had to throw a romance in there. I'm not a big rom-com romance reader, but I do like to read one every now and then. And this one did sound very intriguing. It's entitled Anywhere With You by Ellie Palmer. Let me turn the ring light off. That is what the cover looks like. It's one of those more contemporary cartoonish style covers or illustration art, whatever you want to call it. So the Goodreads description is pretty long, so I'm going to try to give it to you in a little quick synopsis here. Our primary character is 29-year-old Charlie Beekman. And Charlie's sister announces that she is planning to elope with her childhood sweetheart. And Charlie knows that she has to stop that wedding, even if it means road tripping into the northern woods of Minnesota in a camper van with her childhood best friend, Ethan, who's as gorgeous as he is chronically unreliable. But when their cozy journey ignites a spark that she's tried to ignore for years, Charlie tries to write off her feelings as fleeting. But is that right? So it's a romance. Sorry, I hit the pause button there by accident. So Anywhere With You by Ellie Palmer has an average rating on Goodreads of 4.14. That's pretty good. And it is scheduled to be released on August 5th. Okay, we got to put a historical fiction in the mix. So the next one up is a historical fiction. It is entitled The Art of a Lie by Laura Shepard Robinson. And this is what the book cover, it's an interesting book cover with the eye there in the middle, is supposed to look like. Get the ring light back on. Okay, I'm going to read you some of this. This book is set in 18th century England, and it follows our primary character is Hannah Cole. And so Hannah Cole owns a confectionery shop on Piccadilly, and her husband is brutally murdered in a violent street robbery, or what appears to be a violent street robbery. After that happens, her confectionery shop is hardly turning a profit. Her suppliers conspiring to put her out of business because they don't like women in trade. Henry Fielding, the famous author turned magistrate, is threatening to confiscate the money in her husband's bank account because he believes it might have been illicitly acquired. And even those who claim to be Hannah's friends have darker intent. Only William Devereux seems different. A friend of her late husband, Devereux helps Hannah unravel some of the mysteries surrounding his death. He also tells her about an Italian delicacy called ice cream, an innovation she is convinced will transform the fortunes of her shop. But their friendship opens Hannah to speculation and gossip and draws Henry Fielding's attention her way, locking her into a battle of wits more devastating than anything she can ever imagine. So historical fiction, this is what drew me in. Historical fiction set in 18th century England. I love a good England story. And I love ice cream. Who wouldn't want to read this? I'm just saying. The Art of a Lie, historical fiction, average Goodreads rating, 4.38, releases on August 5th. Okay, next up is another historical fiction, The Last Assignment by Erica Roebuck. Let me turn the ring light off. That is what the book cover looks like. Okay, so real quickly, because this video is getting to be a little bit longer than I anticipated, this is actually a fictional story, but your primary main character is actually a true person. And it is a photojournalist by the name of Dickie Chappelle. And she was a photojournalist during World War II all the way up. She died during Vietnam. And so this is a fictional story that Erica Roebuck, the author, wrote about this true real life person. And it just sounds incredibly interesting. The reviews were awesome. The Goodreads rating is 4.55 and it's due to release on August 19th. Now the next one up is Something to Look Forward to by Fannie Flagg. And I'm just going to tell y'all, I am a huge fan of Fannie Flagg. I haven't read everything on her backlist, but I am in the process of it. Fannie Flagg, this is what the cover is going to look like, guys. Fannie Flagg grew up in Alabama. She's a Southern gal. She writes about, a lot of her books are set in small towns across the United States. Not all of them are in the South, but a large portion of them are. And I just love her. They're like Southern fiction, women's fiction, family fiction. They're just great stories about families and small town life. So she is an author that I didn't realize she was still writing. I thought, Fannie Flagg actually wrote the movie Fried Green Tomatoes. She wrote the book that was based on, about the Whistle Stop Cafe. And so I didn't realize she was still writing. And when I saw that this book was being released, it was an automatic pre-order for me. Now, this is a little bit different than most of her other books because this is actually short stories. It's a compilation of 30 short stories. But for me, it was an automatic pre-order. It's due to come out on August the 19th. It has a 4.06 rating on Goodreads. Okay, this next one, which is number 10, is actually a true crime nonfiction book. The name of it has a long name. The Man No One Believed, The Untold Story of the Georgia Church Murders. And let me show you what the cover is going to look like. Okay, this Goodreads description is very long, so I am not going to read it to you, but basically this is a true story, and this tells the story of how this crime was solved from 1985. It was a double murder where a man walked into a Georgia church and brutally murdered Harold and Thelma Swain. And so it sounds, I'm a true crime nonfiction person. That's very intriguing to me. If you're not a true crime person, you may not enjoy this book, but it does have a Goodreads rating of 4.47, which is incredible. And it's due to release on August 5th. Now, I am going to tell you about book number 11, and I'm going to have to go back and say that maybe this was a little bit of a fib, that this is not truly up my alley or my cup of tea, because I don't normally read fantasy, but this is, everybody's talking about it, so I had to mention it. This is book 3 in the Assistant to the Villain series. I have not read books 1 and 2, but it has such high reviews, I might. And I read the description of this one and it sounds cute, so I may go back and read the other 2. But the name of the book is Accomplice to the Villain. It is book number 3 in the Assistant to the Villain series. That is what the book cover is going to look like. It's by Hannah Nicole Maher, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name correctly or not. It has a 4.47 rating on Goodreads, and it's due to release on August 7th. So if you are into fantasy romance and you've read the other 2 books, the third one's coming out the first part of August. And book number 12, which is the last one for me today, is entitled The Witch's Orchard by Archer Sullivan. And let me show you what that book cover is going to look like. And the reason this one intrigued me is, A, it's a mystery thriller, but this book is actually set in North Carolina. and I'm a North Carolina gal. I live in North Carolina, so I love to read books that are set in North Carolina. So this one intrigued me. Hang on, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what it's about. Okay, I'm going to read a little bit to you. So our primary character is a former Air Force special investigator by the name of Annie Gore. She joined the military right after high school to escape the fraught home life of her childhood. Now she's getting by as a private investigator, and her latest case takes her to an Appalachian holler, not unlike the one where she grew up. 10 years ago, 3 little girls went missing from their tiny mountain town in North Carolina. While one was returned, the others were never seen again. After all this time without answers, the brother of the girls wants to hire an outsider, and he wants Annie. While she may not be from his town, she gets mountain towns, mountain people. Driving back into the hills for a case this old, it might be a fool's errand, but Annie needs to put money in the bank, and she can't turn down a case, not even one that dredges up her own painful past. In the shadow of the Blue Ridge, Annie begins to track the truth, navigating a decade's worth of secrets, folklore of witches and crows, and a whole town that prefers to forget. So that intrigued me. Set in North Carolina. Like I said, I'm a North Carolina gal. This one has a 4.27 rating on Goodreads, and it's due to release on August 12th. So that's it, guys. Those are my top 12 anticipated Those are my most anticipated new book releases for August of 2025. Do any of these sound intriguing to you? What are you most looking forward to that's going to be releasing in August 2025? I love when you drop comments. Drop me a comment below and tell me if you enjoyed this video or if any of these books sound interesting or what you're looking forward to reading in August of 2025. And if you're not a subscriber, I really would appreciate if you subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so you'll be notified when I upload a new video. That's it, guys. That's my point of view from 60 and a senior. Y'all have a great day.